So the Lakers continue to be active and aggressive free agency, and they signed Melo, Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk. They extended Tal Horton Tucker with like a 2 to 3 year deal, I believe. They picked up Dwight Howard, Kent Bazemore, and yeah, those are the new acquisitions. They haven't done anything when it comes to Dennis Schroeder just yet. That'll probably happen within the next couple of days, because it's not the 6th yet. But yeah, and now the question is being floating around: is this a super team or a retirement home? I'm gonna say it's both. They are the Expendables. They got some popular, big, and old names. And by the standard definition of a super team, or at least the one that was floating around with the Warriors, it was 2 superstar players and an all-star caliber player, and that equals a super team. The 2 superstar players are LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and the all-star caliber player is Russell Westbrook, and that would make them a super team. And yeah, they're a retirement home as well because they got a lot of old guys on this team. Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, and Tal Horton Tucker, those are like the only guys that, in their mid-20s. Anthony Davis 28, and everyone else in their 30s. So yeah, they're super team and retirement home. The Expendables. Now, am I surprised about some of these moves? Yeah. They got the guys that I didn't want them to get to start free agency. I mentioned not wanting to pick up Melo and Westbrook because I thought those were moving more towards names and not fit and production, but they did it anyway. So yeah, what do I know? But it was approved by LeBron and Anthony Davis, so I can't be too upset about it, because if they didn't want them on the team, they wouldn't be there, and they are on the team. So I'm just going to assume that Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they gave clearance on these moves, and they're looking forward to them. And I'm going to look forward to them as well now. Now, they did pick up some shooting, thankfully, with Wayne Ellington and Malik Monk. And you can even say Melo, even though, I'm a bit shaky on Melo's shooting. I'm a bit shaky on it. Maybe it's just, me thinking about his reputation too much and not actually looking at it. But yeah, I'm still a bit shaky on his shooting. They did re-sign Dwight Howard. Or no, they signed him again. This is his 3rd time in the Lakers. So they signed him on a vet minimum. A lot of these guys on vet minimums, I would have to say, except for like Kendrick Nunn and Tal Horton Tucker, when it comes to these free agents. So yeah, a lot of guys on vet minimums. I'm seeing people saying, well, how are they getting all this money? Do they have an unlimited cap? No, they're all cheap. That's how they're getting these players. They're cheap. Don't know. Well, don't understand the confusion about that. I really don't. I don't understand it at all. They have unlimited money. They have different rules for them, and that's not the case at all. I'm wondering, well, why did Tal Horton Tucker get as much money as he did? The Lakers have bird rights to him. I'm not the smartest guy out there when it comes to the cap, but what players add bird rights to, they can sign over the cap. They had bird rights to Caruso, had bird rights to Tal Horton Tucker, and they could oversign over the cap with one of those guys, or with both those guys. They chose to do that with Tal Horton Tucker. He could still get moved. Even though he signed the extension. So yeah, just be wary of that. I'm wondering what they're gonna do with Dennis Schroeder still, because I don't want him on the team. But they did get some guys off the team that I didn't want. The only guy I don't want the team coming back will be guys like Marc Gasol and Wesley Matthews, because we already have enough old guys. So yeah, they've also waived Alfonso McKinney, so that opens up 3 roster spots now. Also, they let Markieff Morris walk. He's going to Miami. Isn't a big deal. I mean, he was a nice enforcer, but production wasn't good. And that's one thing about the Lakers. They had a lot of guys that just be sitting on the bench. Guys like Wesley Matthews, Markieff Morris, Alfonso McKinney. Other years it was Quinn Cook, Jared Dudley. Yeah, so one thing I can say about this roster, it looks like these guys, they will be more productive, or they won't have guys that just collect DNPs throughout the entire year because you can't play them at all. But yeah, the biggest concern will have to be age in the regular season, because I get it, it's about winning the playoffs. totally aware of that. And yeah, if the Lakers get there healthy and they're like a 6th seed and like they're playing well to close out the season, I'll be fine with that. But you know, you need them to get there healthy, and seeding is a bit important for, you know, home court advantage and, you know, those finals appearances and those really tough playoff series, because you really like to have the benefit of being at home for 4 games. So even if you lose out on the road, if you just defend home court, you can still win the series. When you're the road team, you have to get at least 1 on their court to win. It's the only way it's possible. So yeah, I'd rather have them have home court. But I am worried about the regular season production and, you know, overall lineup cohesion, because with players like this, they're not going to have the same starting lineups, you know, consistently. I mean, guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, they'll start every game that they're cleared to play in. But everyone else, yeah, they'll be bouncing in and out starting lineup. So Kent Bazemore, Ariza, Melo, Dwight, they will all be bouncing in and out of the starting lineup. I mean, maybe the White will start more consistently. Yeah, he'll start more consistently, because I don't think they're gonna have AD start multiple games at the 5 until it's the playoffs at the end of the season. So yeah, those would be, you know, the most consistent of the starting 4. But everyone else, and when guys like AD, LeBron, and Westbrook, because they're gonna load manage, well, at least AD and LeBron are gonna load manage. I only expect them to play 60 some odd games. Let me talk about this right now. So I'm speaking about load managing in the regular season. Yeah, I only expect LeBron and AD to play 60 games throughout the season, and I'm going to make a prediction on their record when they play those 60 games. I got them going 48-12. So that's, you know, 60 of the 82 games right there, and you're going to need Westbrook and company to win, you know what, 10. Which is doable. It should be doable. It really should. Because you got LeBron and AD playing 60 games. You're going to win the majority of those games. And then you just need Westbrook and Melo to have some good games here and there to get you to 10 more wins. So what? That will give the Lakers a record of 58-24, which shouldn't be enough to secure a top 2 seed in the West. And it definitely will. And I'm expecting this because Westbrook, Melo, and company should be able to will the Lakers to at least 10 wins in a period of games that Anthony Davis and LeBron James don't play, hopefully due to load management and not any injuries. And yeah, I expect them to be able to get them 10 wins in a 20-game stretch, just them going 500. And that shouldn't be much to ask at all. And, you know, maybe they get some stinkers in those games they play, whatever. Doesn't really matter. And another thing is, being that they signed all these old names, all these old star names, and again, old because they're not playing like stars anymore, guys like Melo and Dwight Howard, I'm expecting productivity and them being professional when they do not play in these games, because, you know, that was one issue with guys like Mark Gasol, Andre Drummond, and who else? Dennis Schroeder. Even though Dennis Schroeder wasn't collecting DNPs in the playoffs, he did start the whole season off by saying, well, I want to be the starting point guard and blah blah blah. So yeah, I don't want to see any of that or any of that when guys aren't getting playing time and they're upset, blah blah blah, thought it was about the team winning, etc. And they have to be productive in the playoffs. They can't be playing like Mark Gasol or Andre Drummond or even Dennis Schroeder. In that one game he laid up 0 points. Yeah, they can't be doing that. I'm gonna need these guys to be productive, because they got signed from them being vets and being savvy and poised in the playoffs, and that's what I'm going to expect from them. You know, those savvy vets that are ready for the playoffs, and while they may be, you know, limping and not the best or the most engaged in regular season, when the playoffs come around, you know, they're ready to ball out and perform. It's really that simple. And they did do a bit of a reunion with some of these guys, because again, Wayne Ellington, Dwight Howard, Kent Bazemore, Trevor Ariza, all former Lakers, and they came back. But looking forward to the Wayne Ellington signing, I really am, because he could actually shoot the ball. Like, same thing with Malik Monk, he could shoot the ball as well. And Malik Monk did turn down more money on other teams to chase a championship and to increase his value, because if he's able to play well in a good playoff stretch for the Lakers, and it could lead them getting, you know, a bag later on, like Caruso. He got himself $37 million. I know no one was expecting him to get $37 million a couple of years ago, and that's what he got himself by, you know, being a good contributor on a playoff team. and on the championship team. So, yeah, same thing as with Malik Monk. The other thing is, a lot of these contracts are short. I believe the longest deal they signed was Talon Tucker with 3 years. So, yeah, all these guys could be gone within a year or two, which isn't an issue at all. If they win a championship, won't matter to me. I don't care about them trading young players or them signing guys and discarding them a year or so later. As long as they win a championship, all good with me. And being that they did trade Kuzma, last week for Westbrook, yeah, every one of the young core is gone. No more young core. They're all gone. Last time they traded guys from the young core to win a championship. Hopefully the same thing happens with them trading away the last piece of the young core with Kyle Kuzma with them winning a championship. Now Westbrook and Melo, they were another pair of teammates that have a reunion because they did play in OKC and they didn't have the best series out there. But hopefully they can make the chemistry work. Hopefully these guys can be productive. When it comes to the overall offensive scheme or fit or just identity in general, they're moving more towards offense now compared to in the previous years and being focused on defense. I'm not too mad at that because while they had the best defense in the league or the best defense going in the playoffs, they still weren't able to score the ball enough, and that's what cost them against the Suns because they did have like a 12-point quarter in that series. But yeah, if LeBron and AD likes the moves, I like the moves, and hopefully Lakers, they win a championship this year. But without the way, y'all stay safe, and I'm out.